Hello, welcome to the FanDuel Punch-Out. I'm Big Italy 42. He's Christopher Ruckus at Space Jam 23 DFS. And we're talking about tonight's huge slate. As you know, Tuesday nights, great nights for DFS. Tons of options, tons of great pitchers, tons of great matchups. And it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. So I'm ready to get things going. How about you?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun having no stud pitchers against good opponents tonight. I mean, take Cueto against Royals. No, thank you.
Yep.
For some unforsaken reason, Sonny Young Sun Gray is 10.5K against the Astros. I know the Astros strike out a lot, but they also are one of the top teams in runs scored per game. Holy cow. Tonight's tough at the pitchers. We talked previously. I've got three pitchers lined up. James Shield. I'll take one. James Shield against the Cubbies in Petco. I mean, you got to like him. He's got a good stadium. Cubbies strike out a lot. They are young. They are explosive, which is a little bit scary. Shields has been, giving up some deep balls, but I do like the fact he is in Petco tonight to kind of give him that help.
Yeah, I mean, you pair his 30.9% strikeout rate with the Cubs having the highest strikeout rate against righties, and that right there puts him firmly in play, especially in that Petco Park, like you mentioned. 6.5 run total, lots of things going for James Shields tonight, and he's only $8,800. So, like you mentioned, Sonny Gray, most expensive guy. He's pitched well, but I don't think I can pay that price either. Next up, Francisco Liriano against Minnesota. He's $9,400. He's been incredibly consistent all year long. Looks like he 10 or more points in every single game. His high was 17, and that's his only one above 12. But, I mean, if you want some consistency, Francisco Liriano is the way to go tonight.
Yeah, and what I just say, tonight's pitching is very difficult, so maybe avoiding an implosion is more important than having your pitcher score 20. Because you got Gio, you've got some pitchers on the mound that do. I mean, Anibal Sanchez, Gio Gonzalez, even Liriano. I mean, he at the first game of the year he struggled, but I mean, some of your most expensive pitchers tonight are prone to implosions, which is scary to think about. So I love your call on the consistency of Liriano, actually.
Yeah, and like you said, Gio Gonzalez had a couple really great starts and then struggled a lot in his last one. So I'm with you there. Go with the safety. If you're looking for guys in tournaments, Trevor Bauer is interesting at $8,100. Got a nice. He's one of the three Indians pitchers in the top 7 in swing and strike rate. Obviously, big time upside with him at 10 Ks against the Cardinals last time out. But as we know, he's also been very wild, walks a lot of batters. So certainly GPP only type of guy there. Anybody else you like down cheap? If you're looking for a guy, if you had to throw someone in cheap in a tournament, where would you go?
I can't believe you. So we talked about this, and you're really going to make me say it.
I'm going to make you.
So there's not a lot of cheap, comfortable plays. I mean, you're not going to play Erasmo Ramirez. You're not going to play Chad Jerome Bettis. Instead, you're going to look at Aaron Sanchez, 6.4K against the Angels. The Angels have a lot scarier name than they might represent on the field. They are turning it around. They could, but I mean, they're so bad right now. Their WOBA against righties is like sub 300, like
it's
in the
last
250.
in the league now.
It is the last in the league.
They dropped behind Philly yesterday.
I mean, they are just woof.
Yeah.
So if you're going cheap, I'm going there. I would never recommend it in a cash game because I feel like the Angels, in a swing of the bat, all those guys can, like in Space Jam, touch the ball and get their powers back. And Mike Trout goes yard, Pujols goes yard, Freese goes yard, Calhoun hits 17 doubles. I mean, that team is scary on paper. They're just not scary on the field right now. So if I'm punting, I'm going to Aaron Sanchez.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. Pick on the team that's really struggling. That's a smart way to go. All right, as we move on to catcher here, obligatory Stephen Vogt reference here. He's got himself a bad righty today in Roberto Hernandez and hit $3,800. He makes for your top option, but he's pretty expensive. Although, like we said, a lot of the pitchers we like around that 9K range, so it's not too difficult to get some big bats in your lineup. Outside of him, we're looking at a few other guys. Robinson Chirinos, I know you're a big fan of. We like to play him in tournaments. He's $2,500. Big time upside, tons of power against lefties. Now he gets Wade Miley, who struggles with righties. A lot of things going for Robinson Chirinos tonight at 2.5K.
Yeah, a lot going for Robinson. I didn't mention this to you earlier. Interesting here. I didn't realize Russell Martin's ISO against lefties is .079.
Wow.
I never realized that, but the guy sprays the ball. He only has a fly ball rate of 23%. against Santiago in that stadium. Definitely a hitter's park. I don't mind Russell Martin for 3.6K.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And outside of those guys, you might want to look for some Coors exposure. Disclaimer, though, looks like the weather's bad once again. They did finish last night's game, but if you're looking for just going with a cheap catcher, you might be fine going with like a Michael McHenry or a Nick Hundley or even a Carlos Ruiz on the other side.
Exactly.
Right. As we move on here to first base, there's some options. I'm going to go ahead and let myself talk about Joey Votto because I always do. 3.6K. Gotta love him against Rodano Ventura and his wild ways. Ventura, still not the pitcher that Kansas City thought he was going to be. He's struggled mightily. Got an ERA north of 5 this year. He's just had tons of struggles. He's got his walk rate down a little bit, 8.8%, but he's still giving up 6 homers on the season. Fortunately, he's at home in Kauffman, but I think Votto wins this matchup more often than not.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's top 3 on the slate. I think, and 3.6K is a nice price tag for him. It is tough to decipher. 3.6K for Votto, 3.4K for my play, Ryan Howard in Coors. Definitely something to consider. And then Edwin Encarnacion tonight against Santiago. He's also a great play. Honestly, I think the nice thing about tonight's slate is it's very highlighted, if that's the right word. I think there's a clear path of what you should be playing. I don't care if it's chalk. I really do think there's a clear path of what you should be playing, and those guys are definitely representing it. If you're looking for a cheaper type play, if he's in the lineup tonight, I doubt it. He wasn't in the lineup last night, but your favorite player of all time, Darren Ruff. He always talks about Darren Ruff. I mean, Darren Ruff is in play tonight if he does play. Yeah. Something to monitor. And honestly, that's it. I mean, a lot of the matchups are interesting. Like Jose Abreu's pretty cheap at 3.7K, but it's tough for me to take Abreu over Votto or Ryan Howard tonight.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a tournament guy around there, Brandon Belt is about as hot as anyone in the world right now with, in his last 3 games, 9 hits, 3 homers, 2 doubles, 7 RBIs, 8 runs scored. Pretty damn good. I don't think he's going to continue those numbers every single day, obviously, but he's certainly got some big-time upside. And Carlos Frias has been much tougher on righties than lefties, so he makes for an interesting play as well. And
he's in Fuego versus Jose Frias.
He is in Fuego versus Frias. I love that. A little bit cheaper. You got Albert Pujols. If you're not a believer in Sanchez, he hit a homer the other day. 2.9K still really, really cheap for him. But outside of that, that's about as deep as I'm going to go today at first base.
Yeah, agreed. On to second base is I said I would never play him, and I found myself rostering him last night in my cash games. It makes me hurt to say this, breaks my heart, but I never roster Chase Utley. I'm going to make a allowance here for him against a righty in Coors at 3K. He makes sense. Yes, go ahead, roster him. I'm not a huge fan of him in general, but I mean, his situation is absolutely perfect tonight. Also, if Devin Travis is in the lineup, I'm going to be probably flipping a coin that is one-sided for Devin Travis and Chase Utley, and it's going to say Devin Travis on both sides. I love Devin Travis tonight against the lefty in Santiago. I just really like that offense. Course weather is a little bit risky. I talked about that earlier, or you did. I like him. Then also, don't you know, Robinson Cano, 3K. Come on, FD. He is better than a 3K player. I take him over Chase Utley Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I do like him a lot, especially against Miguel Gonzalez in Camden. I mean, if there's a time for Robinson Cano to get going, tonight is the night.
Absolutely, and I'm going to throw out Danny Espinosa also, but hitting the ball really, really well. Showing patience at the plate, too. He's got 6 walks in his last 6 games. He's scored a run in 9 of his last 10, hitting doubles, hitting homers. Guy's doing everything. 3K, I like him a lot, too, as a nice swerve play there. And then I'll throw out Logan Forsythe. He batted second the other day, batted 5th time before that. And at 2.6K against Mike Fultonwitz, I believe it is. I think he's certainly in play here as he's a nice contact hitter who's been getting on base for
Can you use that? Can you use that in a sentence, please? Is that a verb or a noun?
Logan Forsythe will get at least 1 hit off Mike Fultonwitz tonight. There's your sentence. All right, let's move on here to third base where there's one play that you should be playing. We'll tell you some other plays just in case you don't want to play the play that you should be playing. But the play that you should be playing is Josh Donaldson at home against the lefty. Next.
Yeah, next, if you're not nexting and you're looking for a cheaper type play, Danny Valencia, 2.3K against a lefty. I mean, come on, he mashes. He's just good against lefties. 404 Woba. I mean, 183 ISO, super cheap. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, I think I'm either going Donaldson, Valencia, expensive, cheap. If I'm pivoting, I'm probably going Arenado. I really like this Michael Franco. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Michael Franco. I mean, I like him. Last night I watched the game. They were talking a lot about what he was doing in the box. Kid has got some jitters, but the kid's also got some wicked, wicked power. So I like him as well.
Yeah, and he was men's salary last night, bumped up to 2,500, but solid punt play for you there. And I'll throw out Kyle Seager as well against that home run machine and Miguel Gonzalez at Camden Yards.
Yeah, I mean, the only Seager I want to be rostering anytime soon is when Corey comes out of the minors, man. I can't wait to roster that kid. He's just I love the Seagers. So yeah, Kyle Seager's in play tonight. Sorry, Kyle, your little brother Corey's gonna be better than you.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I'm going to be excited to see it too. Moving on to shortstop here. Not a lot to see, not a lot to love. As we've seen, Brandon Crawford is on fire. $3,100. You got to consider him, of course. Brad Miller's been batting near the top of the order, hitting the ball really well. Once again, another guy picking on Miguel Gonzalez. And then Johnny Peralta's got some big-time upside here tonight. Despite being in a pitcher's park against John Neese, who's had a little bit of struggles with righties this year.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for that quote unquote Min Sal type player, you're looking at Zach Walters. If he's in the lineup, I do like Zachary, my favorite Walters, 2.2K, trademark his nickname that I just made up. 2.2K against Quintana. I know the guy showed some stuff, but Walters is hit for power in a very, 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 very limited sample size. But still, he's Min Sal. Gotta like him. I mean, Sorshop is weak tonight. Depending on where Zach Kozar is, I like Zach Kozar. You already mentioned Brandon Crawford.
Yep.
And then also, one of the interesting plays of the night, I think, is going to be Boston Bats. And if they wake up against Galliardo tonight, Xander Bogaerts, 2.2K, depending on where he's in the lineup, usually bats in the bottom. That probably will happen again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you there. He's a solid hitter down there at the bottom. And as we look at the outfield, you see this huge, big price tag up top that Bryce Harper has earned every bit of. But 6.2K, you have fun with that. Good luck. He's probably going to have a big game. I still think he's in a fine spot against Nathan Eovaldi. But there's no way I can afford a 6.2K player in my lineups tonight. Maybe in some tournaments, but even that, at that price, it's going to be tough for me to get Bryce Harper tonight.
Yeah, no. I don't think you can pay up for Bryce. I mean, I love one of my favorite plays of the night, expensive plays of the night, is Joey Bats. For all you viewers not familiar, Jose Bautista. Love him tonight, 4.5K against Santiago, Rogers Center. I mean, what don't you like about that?
Yep. I mean, and he's finally getting it going. It seemed like that shoulder's fine. It seemed like that was the concern there for a little while, that, he wouldn't have his power stroke because his shoulder was hurt. I mean, last game he had a home run and a double. So I'd like to say that if in 4 at-bats you hit a home run and a double, another hit, you're probably feeling just fine.
Yeah, you're feeling just fine. Also feeling just fine, hopefully, is going to be Carlos Gonzalez tonight against righty Aaron Harang in course. He stroked the ball last night down the line. Hopefully, Cargo comes around. I mean, I love him tonight. It's probably one of my top overall plays at price point. So, checking out Cargo on FD tonight.
Absolutely. And looking at some other guys, if you want a bare minimum punt, Seth Smith is by far your best option, if you ask me, 2.2K. Another guy that I know you love, Ben Revere, was a guy you were on last night, had himself a nice night. Now he gets Chad Betis, I'm not sure how you say it. He had 3 hits in his last game. He had 3 hits in the game before. He steals bases. He scores runs. He's in Coors Field, spacious park. He's got speed. Gotta love that combination with Ben Revere tonight.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, as you're looking near the middle, there's not a whole lot to love. I mean, I like Josh Reddick here in tournaments against Roberto Hernandez. He's struggled a little bit recently, but he's got big-time upside against a bad righty. Other guys in the middle, I mean, there's nobody that I really love here. You can look at guys like, I completely lost it.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at guys like Jay Bruce tonight.
Yeah.
You could look at some mid-range players, Jay Bruce, Drew Stubbs. Carlos Gonzalez is pretty min priced. I mean, even someone like Anthony Goes, you could look at tonight. Kyle Blanks. There's a lot of these weird, random mid-salary type players, and I think it's all going to come down to how you construct your lineups and where you're spending and saving.
Yeah, and I actually like Rajay Davis that he's been batting in the 6 hole recently. Got a lot of RBI opportunities, those big bats ahead of him. So at 3K, I think that he's an interesting play tonight as well.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for us. Find us on Twitter at DF Cafe and check out all of our content for tonight's slate at dailyfantasycafe.com, and we will see you tomorrow.